Welcome, drone video fans. This is a video that highlights the Grand River, which runs along the Hidden Valley Park in South Madison, Ohio. There's a little information screen there. You can pause and go back and take a look at that if you're interested to give some information on here. We're taking off from land here and flying out over the Grand River itself. If you're interested in the park, I did a video previous to this one that shows much of the park. This video we're going to expressly kind of focus on the Grand River itself. You've seen much of this Grand River in some of my previous videos on the covered bridges of Ashtabula County. The Grand River actually begins in Geauga County, which is south of Lake County where this is being shot, and then from there it turns to the east and goes into Trumbull County, and then turns back to the west and comes back through Lake County where we're at here, and eventually runs past the cities of Madison and Perry and Paynesville, and eventually turns north and runs into Lake Erie at the Fairport Harbor region. We are coming up here on a bridge, a concrete high bridge that is actually State Route, Ohio State Route 528, which runs through Madison and runs down south into Trumbull. But you can see the shadow of the bridge right up ahead. This rather modern bridge, surprisingly, was built back in 1893 by the King Construction Company out of Cleveland, Ohio. They're the ones that built this bridge, and it's held up very well over the last century. Been around for a long time. We're looking down here into the water itself here, and it's always nice to get some good reflective shots. And again, we're headed there. We were pointed in the eastern direction, and now we're going to turn to the west, bring the camera up a little bit, and we're going to go some 3,000 feet downstream along the Grand River. As I mentioned, the Grand River eventually flows back into Lake Erie. Once it gets into Lake Erie, it flows through the Niagara River over the Niagara Falls, which then go into Lake Ontario. From Lake Ontario, that water goes into the St. Lawrence River, which then makes its way back out to the Atlantic Ocean. So this water that you see flowing in this direction, westerly direction here, will eventually make its way, I don't know how long it takes, but it will make its way out to the Atlantic Ocean through the route that I just described. As you can see, it's fairly shallow at this point, and this basin, this river basin, is comprised of Chagrin Shale, as are the walls that you see on the right hand side, which were highlighted in my last video. This section of topography was cut out by the Wisconsinian glacier, which receded back through this section of Ohio during the last ice age some 25,000 years ago. And of course, the glaciers carrying large bits of rock and all kinds of heavy weight. They were scoured out sections of the terrain, leaving behind landmarks such as this, the Grand River here, and even Lake Erie, and the Great Lakes were dug out by the receding glaciers, and then of course the melt water from the glaciers themselves filled them. There you see me on the left hand side as we're passing my takeoff area and continuing downstream here, which is of course in the westerly direction. We maintained an altitude of somewhere between 3 to 5 feet over the river the entire time as we were flying down, just to try and get the best video that we could. And I had a polarizing lens filter on the camera to help with being able to see through the water, which is quite clear because haven't been any real severe rains. Speaking of rains and flooding, 10 years ago in 2006, they had a 500-year flood along the Grand River here. 500-year flood meaning that such flooding only occurs every 500 years, and that was due to what they termed a 1,000-year rain, an amount of rain that fell in a 48-hour period, which only occurs every 1,000 years. So the bottom line was that this river that you see so peacefully running in front of you and so shallow rose to 11 feet above flood stage. It's kind of mind-boggling for me to picture this river running that high, but I saw evidence of it further downstream in the city of Paynesville. They had a small golf course there, a 9-hole golf course that I used to play with friends on occasion, and that golf course was only 5 feet above the Grand River in certain places. So when the river reached a flood stage of 11 feet above flood stage, it just completely inundated the golf course, and that was the end of its operation. It closed after that flood and has never been reopened. It also took out many roads that were in that area that were undercut by the speed of the river, and they had to be bypassed and replaced. As we're traveling along here, I can no longer hear or see the Phantom as I'm flying along. I'm looking strictly at the little 8-inch tablet that's mounted on my transmitter, and the way that I'm navigating is by looking at the video feedback from the aircraft itself, from the Phantom 3 back to the transmitter and to my little 8-inch tablet. And so you have to have a lot of confidence in your signal, and of course there's indicators on the tablet that indicate what kind of signal strength you have, so that if you lose signal strength or video strength, you'll be able to monitor that. But at no time during this flight down the Grand River did I ever even lose 1 bar of signal strength or video strength, even though I was completely out of sight of the drone itself and behind trees and whatnot. But we're just kind of cruising easily down the Grand River here, again to the west, and see a lot of bits of shale. Some of that has fallen off of the cliffs that you see on the which would be the north side or the right side of your picture. And over the years and decades and centuries, little pieces of those cliffs break off because you've seen the vegetation that grows in there. They just break it up, and those little pieces of shale just fall down and make their way into the river itself here. So we've come a couple thousand feet down from where we took off, and now we're turning back and we're heading back east again, upstream, and you can see the flow of the water as it goes, as we're flying against the flow of the river. Again, it's a very peaceful and scenic part of the river. It has been deemed by the Ohio Department of Natural Resources as a scenic and wild river, and has had very little in the way of urbanization to cause it to lose any of its natural beauty. So it's a really nice place if you're just looking for a place to sit down and just enjoy nature. This would be a place well worth visiting. In the last video I showed you the park, and there are vantage points where you can sit in the park and just take in all of the natural beauty of this area. And we're just again flying along the river as slowly as we can, but we want to keep things moving and giving you an idea. You can see things on both sides of the shore. On the left side is the north side of the shore, and that's dominated by the Chagrin Shale Cliffs that are on that side, and then on the right side of the picture, that's the south side of the Grand River, which is more adapted to vegetation and wildlife. There are several fish species that inhabit this river, from the coho salmon to steelhead trout, sunfish, bluegill, crappie, all manner of fish are available in this area, and there's many places where you can find good fishing areas along, although this particular section of the river is running fairly shallow. Also, further back to the east, there are areas where it's quite a bit deeper, and they have set up canoe runs, 5-mile, 10-mile runs, where you can come down and rent a canoe and jump in and paddle downstream. Most of the trips are all downstream. None of them are upstream. I myself have gotten involved with those canoe trips on a few occasions, and they're kind of fun. You have to try and time it so that when you go on at a time when the river is running a little bit on the higher side, so you can avoid the snags, because those are always kind of annoying. You have to kind of step out of your canoe and lift it over a low spot, and then get back in your canoe and continue on. And at this point, we've arrived back at the takeoff point. You can see that there's not a whole lot of level ground here to set down on, so I brought a little landing pad with me, and we'll be setting down on that landing pad when we land. We do a lot of little videos like this of nature, so if you enjoy that sort of thing, I invite you to come back. If you like this sort of thing, put a like up there and subscribe to the channel. We enjoy all the comments that people leave, and if you would like to be made aware of the next video, subscribe, and you'll be sent an invitation to come and watch the next video. Thanks for watching this one, and I hope you enjoyed it.